Welcome to another episode of Make Money Matter. And today, I'm here with the amazing Chibaria.
Hey.
Hey. And today we're talking about a very fascinating topic, which is about your true purpose of why you came onto this planet in the first place. Now, this is a huge topic because a lot of people go through their lives working at their jobs, going through university or school and thinking, why am I doing what I'm doing? Why are we put on this earth? Why do I go through all of life, then get the qualifications to go into a job, to then finally end the job, to finally go into retirement, to hopefully enjoy money at the end and then die, And it's kind of like people always get lost with this whole question. And that's why a lot of people actually go into depression. I know for a fact when I was 24, 25 and I went into depression, this was actually the reason, because I felt like I wasn't fulfilling my purpose. Yeah. Now, it's huge to say everybody that's watching this video will now find their purpose from this video. And I'd like to just rewind a second from the idea of this. And if everybody can keep their mind open to listen to what I'm about to say. Now, a lot of people look about finding their purpose. If you are living with purpose, living in purpose, you have to be purposeful, right? Now, if you are purposeful, it means that you are serving a purpose. You are being of purpose.
Yeah.
Now, if we really think about it, when are we being of purpose?
When we're helping and contributing and making a difference.
Like, is there any other way to be of purpose rather than helping and contributing and serving somebody?
When we are...
There is no way to be purposeful. Think about it. I mean, even if somebody's like fixing a car and you're holding something for them, you're serving them, you're helping them, you're doing something, right? You get what I'm saying? There's this. So if we start understanding there's no other way to be purposeful is to be of service, is to help somebody. Yeah. And that's why if you look at human needs psychology, the human's greatest need, the highest need, is the need for contribution. Nobody can deny, everybody who's watching this show right now, nobody can deny that when we help other people, we're extremely happy. We like helping people. Naturally, as humans, that's our greatest need. However, there comes a few problems here. Number one is sometimes people don't even have the capacity to help themselves. How can they have the capacity, the time, the money freedom, the whatever, to be able to help other people, right? So that becomes a restriction. And the second thing is, helping people becomes a side hustle for people. If you really think about it, every single day people are going into their jobs. They're working extremely hard, maybe at a job that they don't even enjoy, working for a boss they don't even like, right? Dealing with things that they don't enjoy doing, right? And they are working for what? They're working for money. But the interesting thing is their side hustle is occasionally they like to help some people. Yeah. Which comes onto the topic of what, Chibari, I know you help a lot of people with, is if really our purpose is to become purposeful, and we'll be in purpose, and if we were to become purposeful, it means to help people, to contribute. If contribution was no longer a side hustle, but was our main hustle, and we actually got rewarded at the same time as helping people, that then comes into the criteria and this of the social influencer, of the coach, of the speaker, of the person who sells some sort of information product to help somebody, right? And that's why it's very fascinating when I first came into the scene. This was about 10 years ago. When you came into the scene, when so many of our students and people around the world come into the scene, it becomes the best thing that's ever happened to them. Yeah. It's because they're like, oh my God, I can't believe it. You mean I can just go around the world and just help people and help thousands or millions of people around the world, and you mean I don't need to worry about money anymore because the whole thing is just one system? People will say, how can you monetize your knowledge? I'm saying, well, have you ever bought a book before? Because that book you bought, somebody monetized their knowledge. It's not such a big deal. It's normal, right? Have you ever paid for a yoga lesson before? You ever paid for a yoga class before? Zumba class, dance class? What did you just do? You just paid for somebody's knowledge. Were you offended by it? I don't think you were. And if you weren't, then why should you be offended if you're the other way around?
Yeah.
But before I let Chibaria actually break down the steps of how to actually get into this, because to some of you, you're thinking, hey, wait there a second, I'm not an expert, I'm not a coach, I'm not a speaker, I'm not even confident. How can I become this, right? And the second thing is, what? You're saying, really, I can make a lot of money doing this, I can replace my job doing this, is this even right? How do I do it? Chibari is going to answer all of those questions with the step-by-step formula to share with you. But before we get into it, I want to share one last thing that I know is also a barrier for people. Is a lot of people, I don't know if you've seen as well with some of your students who come on board, is with social media influencer, they get a bit afraid. It's kind of like, I'm not an influencer. I don't need to reach that many people. Which I want to put another question into your head. Everybody who's listening. Number one question is, do you like helping people? Does it feel good to help somebody? So if you answered yes, my next question to you is, if you help one person, would you like to help two? Or would you let the second one just, okay, you second one, just die. It's okay, I'll help the first one, right? And if the answer is yes, if you help 2 people, do you want to help 5? Do you want to help 10? If you help 10, do you want to help 50? Is there a point where you say, I don't want to help any more people? No, there isn't. And if that's your answer, then actually to reach out to more and more people is kind of your duty. It's something that actually you're supposed to do. But what's stopping you? What's stopping the people saying, hey, I'm not a social media influencer. No, I don't need to reach millions of people. Is basically social conditioning and fear.
Yeah.
Fear of what other people will think of them.
Yeah.
Once fear is out the door, we can live our true passion and purpose. Yeah. So I'm going to pass it on to you now, Chibaria, to break down for them. Those who have an open mind, who are open to exploring, how do they become a person who provides information and knowledge and helps people? And how do they actually monetize?
Yeah. So the first thing that can really help is to think, what have you been helping people with so far up to this point? And you're doing it for free. What are the things that people come to you for advice? What were the things that ever since you were a kid you have been complimented on? Those are usually natural indications of things that you are naturally good at, or you have naturally been attracting people to help them with that area.
For example?
For example, it could be that people have always come to you whenever they're in a relationship crisis. They always come to you and they say, like, what do I do? Like, what do I say to him? What do I say to her? Like, what's the way? How do I respond? And
for the people who have helped people out of relationships before, for them to now think, wait there a second, but I'm not a relationship coach.
Yeah, but the thing is have you given certain advice, and have you seen that whenever they implement that advice, it actually helped them?
So you say you're not a relationship coach, yet at the same time, you've just coached somebody.
Yes, and you actually help someone improve their life, empower them such that the relationship had a happy ending. Or maybe you've helped someone that you actually saw it was a toxic relationship, and you said, hey, this is maybe not the right thing for you, and therefore you have saved someone in that sense so that they can actually re-empower themselves. So a lot of the times, like it is those very simple things that you need to ask yourself, like, what are those things that people came to me for? That's one part of how you can go about it. Another part is how you can go about it is actually thinking, like, what are you naturally passionate about? What do you like, or what knowledge do you have? Maybe it's knowledge from just your own hobby because you are so interested in it. Or it could be that something you have, gained deep domain expertise, as they call it, because of your study or because of the job that you currently have. Maybe you're doing something for another company right now, which you may as well actually start doing for yourself and helping other people with. So the key first step is for you to map out what are different things that you could be adding value in. And then the second step is to actually start a process of adding that value. So for instance, you can go online, you can write a post that just gives people 3 tips to do X, Y, Z. And then with that, you have to keep the consistency with it. So it could be right now that, for instance, and I'm just going to share with you honestly, like, what are my branding pillars, as I like to call them. One part is business and marketing. Another part is providing inspiration or making people feel empowered. Another thing is, family is very important to me. So every single time I make a post, it is about one of these areas or a combination thereof. And then the next step is that you need to start listening. what are the posts or what are the pieces of advice that you're giving that people are very appreciative of, and people are really thinking like, oh, thank you so much for sharing this. I'm so, it really made my day, or it made a big difference to me.
That's
And
very
then-
important, I think. Letting
Yeah.
the market determine actually, hey, what the market wants right now.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And this is the same thing like what we apply on a day-to-day basis and what our students apply, because you may have an idea like, oh, I could be doing this, but at the end of the day, most people have multiple talents or have multiple passions. And if you then just share it with the world and then they let you know like what they want the
Based
most.
on looking at engagement, you can already tell what people
Exactly.
want.
Yeah. What's getting most views? What is that people start commenting? And one very beautiful example with this as well is that with the wealth yogis, for instance, they were doing this. They were following these advice, and all of a sudden, people start to reach out to them, ask them questions
That's
about
right.
certain topics, and then you can use those questions and start answering those questions online. And from that part, you start to develop for yourself, hey, this is a key area that I could actually, be this information provider. Or
Okay,
I-
so at that stage, they're helping people, but they're not really generating any income
Yeah,
from it. So
yeah.
what are the steps to be able
So
to
the
do
next part is then if once you have determined like, okay, this could be an area that I can, make money in, or I could help people in, is to look who's currently the best person, the best company that is actually rocking it in this space. So for instance, you found out that fitness is the thing that people always come to you. Then look at who are the people making most money right now in the fitness industry online. And then what you will want to do is model them. Look at their landing pages, look at their ads, opt into their free ebook, and read how do they do it? What is the way, how they approach people? What are the topics that they address? And then you do the same, but obviously with your own flavor, your own natural way of presenting it. And then from that, you will actually want to build what we call a funnel, build what we call an automated system where you can provide that information, you can provide that value, and then get people to buy it from you on autopilot.
So those are the steps that anybody can actually take
Yeah.
to actually start getting into what we call the influencer business or the coaching business, right? Now, what are the main struggles you see with most people who are actually going into this whole thing then?
The biggest struggle is actually all the way at the beginning to just start. That's the biggest one.
The fear.
The
A lot of
fear.
fear of what other people may think. Fear
Yeah.
that, hey, but I'm not the expert. What's my friends and family going to say? Hey, suddenly I think I'm some expert or something, you know?
Because the moment that people do and they actually start doing it consistently, we always see our students get results.
That's
we
right.
always see that people are, like, it could be the simplest thing to you. And this is another thing I want you to comment it below is that what is common to you, it's not necessarily common to other people. It can actually, be a complete eye-opener to other people. And I've had this before as well. I talk about a particular topic and I do this every day. Like it could be a marketing topic. And then all the comments come in and people say, oh, thank you so much for sharing this. I really needed to hear this right now. And I'm like, what? I thought it was so simple, but it can mean the world to another person because
right.
obviously you're an expert at the things that you do every single day.
That's right.
So that's
Beautiful.
a big
I
thing.
always have the saying, I say, people say, I'm not an expert. I say, no, you are an expert at what you know.
Yeah.
Everybody, you can't deny that. You are an expert at what you know. Exactly the same as me. I'm an expert at what I know. You're not an expert at what you don't know. So you are an expert. So share what you know and see what happens. See the feedback you get. That's a great start. And
Yeah.
the secret to actually getting some success in anything is actually getting started. So make sure you actually feel the fear, do it anyway.
Yeah.
And then you'll start seeing the reward. It'll start coming in bit by bit.
And actually one more thing on top of that, right, is that the big thing that basically builds up that fear is that people think, oh, but there's probably someone who's better than me. And let me just tell you one thing. It doesn't matter whether there's somebody who's better. The only thing that matters is that you have something that can get a person from A to B. If you can just add this value, and you don't have to be the best, but if you can uplift someone, thereby empower them, get them to change their life,
Then
even if
that's
it's just a
enough.
small thing, that's the only thing that matters.
Yeah, I mean, you need to think of it like this, right? My mentor used to always say, does anybody know how to make a burger that tastes better than McDonald's? And a lot of people say, yeah, I know how to make a burger that tastes better, but look at McDonald's. They're the
Yeah.
biggest out there,
Yeah.
right? So a lot of the time when you're dominating the market, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to have the best
Yeah.
tasting thing, the best knowledge, the highest, the best, but actually beyond knowledge then. So knowledge is one thing, is the hub of it. Then beyond that is your marketing skills and your conversion skills, your automation skills, your funnel skills. That all comes after it.
Yeah.
If you guys want to learn more about that, I know that Shibari is running a masterclass.
Yes.
And it's free for everybody to join. So make sure it's the first link in the description. Make sure to subscribe to that masterclass. And then where Shibari will be breaking down all the steps for you to be able to learn how to monetize your passion, monetize your purpose. So you're not just working for money for something you don't enjoy. Instead, you're enjoying at the same time as helping people, and money will just come in.
Yeah.
And also, she has a group. It's called the Smile Group. So make sure to join that group as well. There's a lot of like-minded people there for you to build up your vibe through the powerful tribe.
Yes.
So if you enjoyed that video, if you enjoyed this video or got any knowledge from it whatsoever, or got just some inspiration, please do hit the thumbs up, hit the like button. Also, comment below. Let us know where you guys have tuned in from. That's always nice to know. And finally, if you're new to this channel and you haven't already, remember to hit that subscribe button and the notifications button next to it. That's a little bell sign, by the way, because this year I'm dedicated to making daily videos to hold you accountable to make it your best year yet. But for now, guys, we're signing out. Ciao.